Season 4, Episode 3. So, April, this is a podcast talking about podcasts, right? So, I have a question. What's your favorite podcast, or what's your favorite theme, like types of podcasts?
Okay, well, first of all, our podcast is a fave,
Of
clearly.
course, of course.
Also, I also host a different podcast. Totally, of course, would be a fave. Clearly,
Say the
clearly.
name of it. Like, what is it? What's it called?
So it's called the More in Your Morning Show. So, because
Are you kidding me?
I love mornings
What?
so much. Like, they are my favorite.
More in Your Morning. I've always loved that title. That is such a
Yeah.
good title.
Thanks. Thank
Yeah, it's
you.
really good.
But yeah, overall, like, I want podcasts that inspire me, encourage me, make me feel good, make me feel like I got this, I can do this. But then also, I want podcasts that are going to help me get it done. So if you are
Productivity.
encouraging me and helping me check the boxes and hit my goals, I'm like, yes, I want to listen. What about you?
Nice. So I like a lot of different things. I definitely love techie type stuff. I love deep stuff. I love life stuff. I like talking really deep or hearing. Can't really keep up with those type of people, but I love that part of it. And also I love film stuff. Like I love listening actors talk about their experiences on different things, in different movies, and what they learned, and directors talk about how they shot this and why they shot it this way. And even though that I'm on a way different level than what they are, like there's principles you can pick up. But yeah, those are probably my favorite.
Yeah. So we choose the podcast that we love to listen to primarily based on the content. Would you agree?
Agreed. Yeah.
So, how about we talk about that today? How about we talk about, how do you create these engaging episodes, these episodes where the content, like your people want to come back for more, they want to subscribe, they just are like, when does the next episode drop kind of thing. So, let's talk about that today. And I think a key part of that is just being authentic, right? A lot of the podcasts that we listen to is because the people are just being authentic and true to who they are and saying what's important to them, what they're passionate about. And ultimately, because that authenticity comes through, we're like, yeah, I can relate. Yeah, I want to know more about that. Yeah, I can connect with that. So I love your thoughts on that, Mitchell. Like, do you feel like you can tell if a podcaster isn't truly being authentic?
I think in general, not just in podcasts, but in general. And I think probably all of us have a radar of that to some degree. I know for me, I mean, I used to be in sales, I used to be in customer service, and being genuine and selling that is a really good tactic. And for me, I couldn't fake it. I picked up when people could, and maybe they were really good at it, maybe they weren't, but knowing the person on the stage performing and not on the stage performing, if you will, I knew that they were faking it. I couldn't, and so whatever I sold or whatever I was working on that I was providing customer service for, I had to believe it. And I poke holes in a lot of things. I have to like genuinely believe it in my heart, or it's not going to work out. But as far as the authenticity, yeah, I mean, I think if I feel like they're not an actual expert, if I feel like they're not really knowing what they're saying, or if they don't know what they're saying but they're honest about it, even, like maybe they have a good understanding of this vein of the topic, and then they try to fake it till you make it a little too much on the side that they don't know, and then they're acting like they're pros at it. I think I could pick up on that. So I think, in not only just podcasts, but I think in general, I kind of pick up on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me too. I think overall, if I'm listening to a podcaster or, like you said, someone in general, if I feel like they are on my team, on my side, want to help me, for me, like, I feel like they're being authentic. If I'm listening to a podcast and they're just trying to sell me something, that really annoys me. So I think for us, even in this podcast, we do our best to serve you guys, right? Can you book a consulting call? Yes. Can we help you with a podcast? Yes. Can we help you with your social media? Absolutely. However, like we legit want to help you grow and learn and elevate your media and get your story out there. And we hope that we can create a podcast where that authenticity comes across. And the best way for that to come across is to provide value. Like at the end of the day, no matter what kind of podcast you are creating, if you want your content to be engaging, you want your content to provide value. Now, it could be educating your audience, it could be entertaining your audience, maybe you're a funny person, you know? It could be inspiring. However, every single episode you are saying, I want my people to be served. I want my people to find value. I want to make sure they can take away something that enhances their life. And I really think if you do that, people are going to want to keep coming back. They're going to want to subscribe. They're going to recommend you to friends. And so really make sure you provide that value. So, Mitchell, any thoughts on that before I want to also talk about just how to structure an episode, but if you have any thoughts on just providing value, we definitely want to hear it.
Well, structuring our episodes, definitely I lean on you for that, so I'll be all ears on that segment. Number two, I mean, being genuine, having high quality things, and I genuinely love this stuff. I mean, I love business, I love media, I love creating media. I think between like our business relationship here, I'm the executioner and you're the dreamer. And I love that. Like I love talking about ways to we can make things better, and within our business wise, and what we talk about on our podcast is talking with our clients and figuring out how best to bring their story out and how to utilize tools to help with that. You know, I love all that, but that's my point is I love it. I love talking about it. I love elevating brands. And if I didn't, I think that would convey big time. So hopefully I do convey that. I hope I do, because I really do mean that.
Yes, Mitchell, you said I'm a dreamer. That was like one of the best compliments anyone could give me because like I love to dream. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So, all right, structuring an episode. So again, these are just some ideas. We're not saying like if you don't structure your episode like this, your podcast is going to be trash like Mitchell's hair was trash a couple months ago.
Okay, wait. We're a video podcast now. We're not only an audio podcast. You must explain this.
Okay. It's totally irrelevant to this topic. So do I really have to explain?
I mean, now you kind of do. Like, you can't just talk about a very specific traumatic thing, in fact, that happened to me
traumatic.
not too long ago. Please elaborate, April.
Okay. A few months ago, your boy over here, Mitchell, got a haircut. But it was totally trash. Like it looked like
butchered
trash.
Like basically I had a shaved head. Like I had like a centimeter from my scalp to the edge of my hair. And as you can tell, I don't like that look.
Now, let me say, time out. Before y'all like email me like hate email, the only reason why I said it was trash was because Mitchell, I thought it was fine, but because Mitchell said it was trash, then we're family. So if Mitchell says it's trash,
Listen,
it's trash.
What you don't know, April, is I cried about that for 3 hours in a cuddle position. I'm totally kidding. No, she's absolutely right. So she was being a very great friend and saying all the nice things about it, because clearly it was different than what it had been since the whole time I've known her. And so I talked about it, about how bad it looked, and she was like, "You know what? You're right, Mitchell. I hate it because you hate it. It's trash because you think it's trash." So
that's right.
Yeah. April's a great friend.
Yeah, that's what friends do. So I said all that to say,
moving on.
These tips for structuring your episode, it's not like the end all be all. These are some ideas. All right. So first, try to start off with what people will call a hook, like how you're going to grab people's attention. For this podcast, you guys, hopefully by now, if you've listened to a couple episodes, you know we usually are going to start with some sort of conversation that may not have to do with the topic, but it's a way to pull you in so you can get to know us a little bit better. So you want to start with some sort of attention grabbing thing. It could be with a question, it could be with a like a statistic, it could be with a story, it could be with a conversation like we start with, but you got to start getting the people's attention. So, Mitchell, any thoughts on, like, you are so good at like helping us hook the people, start our podcast. Are there any thoughts going through your head when you're kind of doing that for us? We're going to give you some behind the scenes look here today, guys.
So I overthink things. I'm always thinking about best ways to do that. And I think you said it. I mean, it is intriguing, and you get to know a little bit about us. We pull the curtain back. I love that phrase. We pull the curtain back a little bit to see what's happening behind there. I love those conversations. Like, if I love talking to someone of a big organization and you see them on stage or you see them in the limelight, and they're one way. A presenter knows how to communicate and whatever, but I want to know. I want to get to know the person. Like, why did you do it this way? Well, that's because back in whatever years ago or episode or whatever, or with this client, I learned this, whatever. Like, I just love those behind the scene conversations. So I try to emulate that on our podcast so our audience gets to know us a little bit. And also, I like to think I have a funny sense of humor, and I want to be genuine. I want to be authentic, and I want people to know who I am. And then we work really well off of that, So I think, one, we're genuine friends, but also we pick up on each other's vibe, and it's a great way to learn who we are. So just kind of mirroring what you're saying.
Yeah, I love it. It's going back to the being authentic, right? You want to hook the people in a way that's authentic to you, your brand. Going back, first episode of this month about just brand identity, people identifying the type of brand you have. So the hook is a great way to let people know kind of what your brand personality is, your podcast personality. So a great episode is going to have a great hook. The second thing I'll say as you're structuring your episode after your hook, bring the value. Like, it's just that simple. Just break down your topic. You can use stories, you can use examples, you can give testimonials, you can teach something. It doesn't matter. It could be a mix of all of the above. You just want to make sure you are delivering value at the highest level that you possibly can. That could be you by yourself. That could be you with the co-host, you with a guest. Just make sure you are delivering the value. Like, at the end of the day, deliver the value. I feel like the hook is, I feel like I always have these, the way that I think about stuff is in pictures. So here's what I picture. So the hook is like you presenting this awesome gift where it's like gift wrap, the bow, it's exciting, like people want to open it, like, oh, I'm intrigued, what's in the box? Then if you don't deliver value, it's like them opening the box and the box being empty. And you're just like, what? Like,
Yeah,
there's
that's
this
a great
beautiful
point.
present, and like I opened it up and it was nothing. No, you want people to open up that box and say, oh, there's some good stuff in here.
Right.
So
So the
that's what I
hook,
want to say about that.
yeah, the hook can't be better than the value, right? The hook is a means to an end. It's not the end. It's not the overall goal. But it's something you can take to grab the audience and bring them to where you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we think about that, the last part of the episode you need is a call to action, something for them to do, right? So if you think about this illustration, you have this beautiful box, that's your hook, it looks pretty. You open it up, there's a value, and now what do you do with what you just got, right? Like, if you get a present, you need somewhere to put it, right? So it's like, what are you going to do with what we just gave you? What's going to be your call to action? You want people to know what to do with what you're giving them. And it could be so simple as share this story with a friend. Don't think you have, even if your business isn't like, I'm selling something per se, so I don't have a call to action, like go buy this. Maybe your podcast is just around interviewing people that have great stories. A call to action could be, hey, go share your story. or hey, go share this story with a friend. Like, you just want people to know this amazing experience they had. There's another step that they can take with it. And sometimes people just need to be guided on what that step actually is. So
No,
yeah,
I
super
love
simple.
that. I love the present analogy, because probably the worst gifts that you have ever been given was that it didn't relate to you. Like, there was no call to action, meaning that I couldn't use this gift anywhere. I couldn't set it up on a shelf. I couldn't use it. I couldn't shoot it. I couldn't play with it. I couldn't whatever. Like, it maybe it was a pair of ice skates, but I haven't ice skated since I was 12, like what am I going to do with these things, So, yeah, I think a call to action, but specifically like what to do with what I was just given, I think is a great, I love that analogy.
Yeah. So super simple, right? You might be thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know how to create a podcast episode. Well, now you do. You just need a hook, something to draw them in. You just want to deliver the value, and you just want to have a call to action, something for them to do. It's just that simple. You guys got this. You can start a podcast. Like, we believe in you. We are here to help you. Maybe you're watching this and you're like, girl, Mitchell, brother, I don't know about it. Just connect with us. Send us a DM. We would love for you to have a conversation with us. We can help you get started in the right direction. We're so excited for your podcast. Here's your call to action right now. Subscribe to this podcast, because we still have another episode of this month, and we want to help you have all the tools that you need to get your podcast going. Those of you who know, like, I need your help, your call to action, send us a DM. It's as simple as that. Get the car started. We talked about in a previous episode, you need to have the car moving to be steered. Listen, start that engine. Let's go. Let's start your podcast. We're excited. We'll see you on the next episode, because together
We dream
dream
media.
media.